Hello. In this video, we'll be talking about our previous 3 milestones as well as our special component milestone. In milestone 1, which was the build phase, we had 2 branches and we had set up a webhook which would trigger a Jenkins build job based on any commit made to GitHub. So these were our 2 Jenkins build jobs, and on success or failure, an email was sent out to the developers, as you can see over here. This is in the case of a build success, and this is in case of a build failure. In milestone 2, which was our test and analysis phase, we had used a Java project, and for the test gate, we had used rundoop for increasing our test coverage. And for the analysis gate, we had done static code analysis using find bugs. And all the reports were generated using Corbuchera and Validations plugins in Jenkins. So as you can see over here, this is a sample Corbuchera coverage report that we had received. And so the coverage report increased from 33 to 56% based on the rundoop's test case generation. And the find bugs result showed all the warnings that were there in our system. And this was the warnings corresponding to our custom find bugs rule that we had set. And we had set up a minimum threshold value for the test case generation as well as for the number of warnings that are generated, and if it exceeded or if it crossed that threshold, then the build was marked as a failure and an email was sent out to the developer. Now in milestone 3, which was our deploy milestone, we had used our Python Flask application from milestone 1, and we had again a similar setup in place where we had a production branch and a canary branch, and we had set up a webhook which would trigger a Jenkins build job based on the commit made in GitHub. So for deploying our artifacts onto the instances, we had used Amazon's code deploy plugin, and this would zip the artifacts onto the S3 bucket, and it would take the artifacts from the S3 bucket and load it onto the instances. Our configuration management was done using Ansible, and this is the message that we received when the configuration management succeeded. These are our 2 build jobs. And after the test and analysis gates were succeeded, this is the output that we received. So once the production deploy and canary deployment succeeded, we could go to the ID and see the app in action. Now we had used feature flags to toggle on or off this functionality. As you can see, the background is red, but after toggling it off, it's black. And we had set up 2 monitoring nodes. We had set up a monitoring server which would monitor these 2 deployment instances based on memory and CPU. Now for our special milestone, we are using a decoy monkey. Now the purpose behind using a decoy monkey is if there are many DDoS, if there is a DDoS attack on your web server, this decoy monkey would be called into action, and it would get all of these DDoS requests onto itself while preserving all the normal requests onto the main server. Now we have extended that in such a manner that to distinguish between whether the attack is sent by a user or a bot, we would be presenting a simple CAPTCHA challenge at the end of the decoy monkey. So if the user is able to answer that simple CAPTCHA challenge, which would be anything like 2 + 2 = 4, then the user is now redirected to the main server. Otherwise, it's not. So I'll show that to you in action. I have my proxy server as well as the decoy server running on these 2 instances. When I go to the website and try to access the server, initially I'm able to see the application in action. So for the purpose of the video, we have set the threshold value for 2 in a 20-second time interval. So within that interval, if the requests exceed the threshold, then it would be sent to the decoy server, something like this. So if the user is not able to answer this, then nothing happens. The decoy instance is called into the picture and it handles these requests. Otherwise, if the user can correctly answer this, then the user is taken to the main web application. So our ideology is that we would be able to prevent the server from being overloaded by this attack while ensuring that all the legitimate users are not unclassified as being part of a DDoS attack. Thank you.